Is there a right or wrong way to conduct business? The answer lies on business ethics, an area that explores the moral dilemmas and ethical quandaries that businesses navigate every day. This subject is not just about making moral decisions, it's also about ensuring those decisions are compatible with the goals of the business. In the modern business world, ethics play a crucial role. They shape public perception, influence employee morale, and can even impact the bottom line. Over the next few minutes, we're going to examine real-life case studies to illustrate the various ethical issues that businesses face. We'll explore how technology intersects with business ethics, the international issues that arise, the impact of globalization on ethical practices, and the intriguing concept of ethical relativism that emerges from the differences among nations. So buckle up. This is your intro to business ethics. Consider this. A technology company sells user data without explicit consent. Is this ethical? Technology and business ethics, where lines can blur and ethical dilemmas abound. A prime example of this is the infamous Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal. Here, a seemingly harmless personality quiz app harvested the data of millions of Facebook users, which was then sold and exploited for political advertising. This act was done without the explicit consent of the users, highlighting a significant breach of privacy. Privacy, a fundamental human right, becomes a significant ethical concern in technology and business. In the digital age, businesses often hold vast amounts of personal data about their customers. When such data is exploited or mishandled, it can lead to severe repercussions for individuals and society at large. In the case of the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal, the user data was used to create targeted political campaigns, potentially influencing elections and the course of democracy. This incident sparked a global debate about the ethical implications of data handling by technology companies. It highlighted the need for stringent regulations and increased transparency in how companies collect, store, and use data. The ethical implications here are vast and varied. They range from individual privacy rights to broader societal concerns about the influence of technology on democratic processes. Businesses, in their pursuit of profit, must not disregard the ethical implications of their actions, particularly in the context of information technology. Moreover, as technology continues to advance at a rapid pace, new ethical dilemmas emerge. These include questions about artificial intelligence and its potential to replace human jobs, the ethical implications of facial recognition technology, and the challenges posed by the rise of cryptocurrency. These issues underscore the necessity for businesses to navigate the digital landscape with a strong ethical compass. Companies must strive to balance their pursuit of technological advancements with their responsibility to respect and uphold ethical standards. As technology continues to evolve, so do the ethical dilemmas. What happens when businesses operate across borders and ethical standards vary? Let's dive into this conundrum with a popular case study: Nike's foreign labor practices. Nike, a globally recognized brand, found itself in the eye of an ethical storm when reports of inhumane working conditions in its overseas factories surfaced in the late 20th century. Nike's factories, predominantly located in Asia, were reportedly subjecting workers to long working hours, poor wages, and unsafe conditions. This was a blatant violation of the workers' rights and well-being. However, the ethical standards in these countries were different from those in Nike's home country, the United States, and this is where the complexity of international business ethics comes into play. When businesses operate internationally, they navigate a tricky landscape of varying ethical norms and legal regulations. In some countries, the practices that Nike was accused of might not have been considered unethical. This doesn't absolve Nike of its ethical responsibilities, but it does highlight the challenges of maintaining ethical standards in international business. So, how did Nike respond? The company underwent a significant transformation. It implemented rigorous factory audits, increased transparency, and invested in improving the working conditions in its factories. While it didn't happen overnight, Nike demonstrated that it's possible to bridge the gap between differing ethical standards. This case study underscores the importance of businesses maintaining a global ethical standard, regardless of where they operate. It's not enough for companies to adhere to the ethical standards of their home country alone. They must strive to uphold the highest ethical standards, even if they are more stringent than the local norms. In the global marketplace, businesses must respect human rights, fair trade practices, environmental sustainability, and more. They must understand that their operations have a profound impact on the world, and they should strive to make this impact a positive one. So, while international business presents a host of ethical complexities, it also provides opportunities for businesses to lead by example. To elevate ethical standards worldwide, and to create a positive societal impact. International business is not just about profits, but also respecting global ethical standards. How has the global interconnectedness of business impacted ethical practices? This question sets the stage for our exploration of globalization and business ethics. In our increasingly interconnected world, businesses are not just local entities, but global players. With this expanded horizon comes a host of ethical complexities. To illustrate, let's delve into the case study of Apple, a multinational technology giant known for its groundbreaking innovations. Apple, like many other global companies, has a supply chain that spans the globe, from the cobalt mines of Congo to the assembly lines in China. This extensive network allows for efficient production, but it also presents ethical dilemmas. For instance, Apple has faced criticism for the working conditions in some of its supplier factories. This raises a crucial question. As a global entity, what responsibilities does Apple hold towards these workers? The answer isn't simple. On one hand, Apple isn't directly employing these workers. On the other hand, it's undeniable that Apple benefits from their labor. So does Apple have an ethical responsibility to ensure fair working conditions across its supply chain? Many argue that it does. This is a reflection of a broader issue faced by businesses in the global market. As companies spread their operations across different countries and cultures, they need to navigate a myriad of ethical norms and standards. They must grapple with questions of labor practices, environmental standards, and human rights. In this context, businesses have a dual role. They are not just profit-making entities, but also global citizens. They have a responsibility to respect and uphold ethical standards, not just in their home country, but wherever they operate. This is the crux of business ethics in the age of globalization. It's about recognizing that businesses are part of a global community, with a shared responsibility for ethical conduct. It's about understanding that every business decision has a ripple effect, impacting lives and communities across the globe. Indeed, globalization has made business ethics more complex and more critical than ever before. In this interconnected world, ethical business practices are not just a moral imperative, but a strategic necessity. It's about building a sustainable ethical foundation that can withstand the challenges of a rapidly evolving global market. Do ethical standards change based on geographical location? Ethical norms aren't constant, but are as diverse as the nations that host them. A world where a business decision considered morally upright in one region could be viewed as unethical in another. This is the world of ethical relativism, where geographical borders influence moral compasses. Let's dive into a case study that perfectly encapsulates this concept: Google's censorship in China. In the mid-2000s, Google, a champion of information freedom, faced a dilemma. Should they enter the lucrative Chinese market knowing they would have to comply with China's strict internet censorship laws? On one hand, Google was accused of betrayal, of compromising its "Don't be evil" motto. Critics argued that Google should have upheld its universal standard of promoting free access to information. On the other hand, proponents of ethical relativism contended that Google was right to adapt to local norms. They believed that respecting China's laws was a necessary compromise to provide even a censored version of their service. This brings us to a crucial question: should businesses adapt to local ethical norms or maintain a universal standard? The answer isn't black and white. Businesses often find themselves walking a tightrope between respecting local cultures and maintaining their core values. In the case of Google, they decided to exit the Chinese market in 2010, citing censorship issues. However, they did attempt to come back in 2018 with a censored search engine project, Dragonfly, which was eventually canceled due to internal and external backlash. So, what's the takeaway here? It's that navigating the labyrinth of ethics in business isn't easy. Each decision carries weight, impacting not just a company's bottom line, but its reputation and relationship with consumers and stakeholders. As we delve deeper into the 21st century, businesses are increasingly expected to strike a balance between global ethical standards and local cultural nuances. This is the reality of operating in a globalized world. As we can see, ethics in business can be a complex maze to navigate. So, what have we learned about business ethics today? We've delved into the heart of how technology impacts ethics in business, unearthing the profound necessity for responsible data handling, privacy protection, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence. We've traversed the complex landscape of international issues in business ethics, highlighting the need for transparency, fair trade practices, and respect for cultural differences. Our journey took us through globalization and its influence on business ethics. We saw how international corporations must strive to uphold ethical standards, even when faced with differing norms across borders. We also explored the intriguing concept of ethical relativism, understanding that while nations may differ in their ethical perspectives, the essence of ethical business remains universal. In essence, the world of business is not just about profit margins and market shares. It's about maintaining a moral compass amidst the whirlwind of global commerce. Remember, ethical business is not just good for society, it's good for business.